have some understanding that we will, by Friday, meet again to report on progress that have been made. But I'm optimistic that the allowances will be paid. Leadership, the Chief Justice, have already taken some initiative to assure them, even through the use of internally generated funds. But the workers are insisting on absolute and complete payment of it and not partial payment. So we have a certain understanding that they stay action, allow the judicial process and judicial administration to be ongoing, whilst government mobilizes to honor those outstanding obligations and allowances. What is important is that this is not allowances that are to be negotiated. They've already been determined, they are deserving. It's only we are in arrears, so we would honor those parts.
Let's bring you up to speed on the situation at some courts here in Accra. Kwachi Afreniama joins me now over the telephone. So, Afra, is the situation any different from what we witnessed this morning at the Cocoa Affairs Court? Okay, Kwachi Afreniama's line seems to have dropped there. We'll try and get him back on the line to get a feel of what is going on or at the courts here in Accra. Now, some women farmers in the northern region are being sexually assaulted by Fulani herdsmen. The women say they are usually attacked and tormented by these herdsmen anytime they go to their farms. The women are therefore calling on the police to intervene and do something about the situation. My colleague Hashmin Mohammed has been explaining the severity of the problem.
These are farmers who normally farm in the hard-to-reach areas in northern region, but this practice is very widespread in the Kumbongo district. The Kumbongo district is a new district that was carved out of the Tolang district. Now, these women, each and every day that they go to their farm, they have their crops.
Asmi, can you speak up a bit?
Hello?
Yes, can you speak up a bit?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, these women farmers are saying that each and every time, each and every day that they go to their farm, they do have their crops destroyed by the animals of the Fulani herdsmen, by the Fulani. Now, quite apart from that, sometimes they do rape them, and many attempts to get the police to address their frustrations have not yielded, have fallen on deaf ears. Now they are calling for the executive to expedite action on that particular issue.
Meanwhile, Northern Regional Police PROS PA Ebenezer Tete says the police has taken up the matter and will soon bring the perpetrators to book.
This particular report came to my notice on Sunday, and quickly I made checks with the officer who is supervising the Kumbungu. I know Kumbungu, we have a police station there, but it has not been opened now. So the Tamale district oversees Kumbungu, and my checks so far indicate that there's no such report lodged with the police in the Tamale district. Nevertheless, this is a criminal, act, and these Fulani men are not above the law. I must say that it is not all Fulani men who are engaged in some of these criminal acts. There are law-abiding ones among them. So we will plead with the women who are victims to kindly contact the police and give us more information as to who these persons are, because from the reports I heard from your regional correspondent, they say all attempts by them to seek help from the police have proven futile, if that is right. And we want to encourage them to come forward and give us more information on these people, because there are a lot of Fulani men who are living in the Kumbu area, and it is not all Fulani men who are perpetrating this act of criminality. So we want to zero in down these criminals and get them arrested so that the law will take its course.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but what they are saying now is that the situation is not just with the Kumungu area. There are other areas as well in the northern region where these Fulani headsmen have been terrorizing people.
You see, we have Fulani men who are living in various parts of the region, and you can find them mostly in the Gunja areas. And I'm aware that some of them are engaged in criminal acts. We've arrested most of them. Most of the cases are pending in court. Some, we are aware, some of the indigenous or the people in those areas take the law into their own hands sometimes to mete out instant justice with them. And we've been engaging them, trying to educate them on the implication of some of those things. And I must say that the incidents of Fulani men going on rampage, raping women and destroying farms and other things have reduced drastically in the region. But we are saying that if there's any incidents of such things happening in any part of the region, we don't want people to just sit back and complain. These acts are criminal acts, because if they are engaged in raping and other things, these are felonious crimes, and we don't want them to think that they can do some of those things with impunity and go scot-free. People who are at the receiving end want to encourage you to come forward and then assist the police so that we can get some of these people, to face the law.
Senegalese President Macky Sall has been elected new chairman of the Economic Community of West African States at the 47th ordinary session of the ECOWAS Heads of State Summit here in Accra. In his acceptance speech, Mr. Sall commended Nigeria's outgoing President Goodluck Jonathan for his exemplary behavior as a democratically elected leader.
I would like to seize this opportunity to once again congratulate President Goodluck Jonathan. His behavior as a great Democrat, which is a pride of Africa.
For Africa and for Nigeria.
Well, President Jonathan in return said he was satisfied with the smooth democratic process in his country and implored the regional bloc to support the president-elect General Muhammadu Buhari, who assumes office on May 29.
I feel deeply satisfied that the tree of democracy planted in my country and in our sub-region has taken roots and is blossoming. I have no doubt whatsoever that under the watchful guidance and nurturing of Your Excellencies, that tree will continue to bear abundant fruits. As the new administration takes over, I am confident that the bonds of friendship between Nigeria and each member state of our cherished organization and Nigeria's role within the ECOWAS will continue to grow even stronger. I urge you all to extend the same friendship and frontal cooperation that I have received from you to my successor.
Well, yesterday a communique was also released after the summit, and we can take a listen to excerpts of that communique.
The authority arrived at the following specific conclusions and decisions: regional economic performance and consolidation of the common market. The authority reiterates its determination to strengthen the foundations for resilient growth in West Africa. It welcomes the efforts to launch and successfully complete the post-Ebola reconstruction of the economies of affected member states. The authority also welcomes the regional approach adopted to that effect. Furthermore, the authority reaffirms its support to the different economic recovery plans prepared by Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. It welcomes the relevance of these plans, which focus primarily on the resumption of essential services, welfare services, economic infrastructure, resilience, and food security. The authority calls on the international community and all ECOWAS development partners to massively support the economic recovery efforts of the above-mentioned countries. The authority decides to write off the debt of $20 million of the Republic of Guinea to support the development of its energy sector. The authority welcomes the declaration on the end of the Ebola epidemic in Liberia and also commends Her Excellency Mrs. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for the determined efforts made for her country to contain this epidemic. It welcomes also the determined steps taken by Guinea and Sierra Leone to significantly contain the spread of the epidemic. It expresses hope that these member states will ultimately eradicate the disease. This positive trend notwithstanding, the authority underscored the need to maintain a high level of vigilance. It urged the concerned countries to continue efforts to combat the disease and directs the Commission to pursue its role of coordinating regional efforts in that regard. The authority approves the creation of the Regional Disease Control Center with its headquarters in Nigeria. It requests the Commission President, in collaboration with WAHO, to take the necessary measures to ensure its prompt establishment and operationalization, and calls on all partners to support this process. Furthermore, the authority renews its earlier call on the need to lift the international ban on air travel to the affected countries. The summit renewed.
You're watching News Today here on Joy News. We're taking a break here. We'll be back shortly with some more. Stay with us. Well, there was an unexpected interruption at yesterday's ECOWAS Heads of State Summit here in Accra. It wasn't an unusual case. I mean, these things happen to almost everyone who engages in a lot of public speaking, but they draw a lot of attention when the personality involved happens to be a very high-profile public figure.
Public speaking is an art that must be carefully learned. There are rules of speech and conduct to keep your audience engaged, accord the appropriate respect, and even to earn one a return invite. Rule number 1, do not lose your place when you give a speech.
The government will soon set up the PKI security architecture to provide an increased level of confidence for online comments and communication and collaboration.
Of particular significance will be the signing of the Supplementary Act of Enhanced Powers of the ECOWAS Parliament. Of particular significance will be the enhanced powers of the ECOWAS.
Rule number 2, should you happen to lose your speech, do not lose your cool.
What is the speech I edited? This is not the speech I edited. No, I can't read this.
Of particular significance will be the enhanced powers of the ECOWAS. I'm missing some pages here.
Instead of throwing a tantrum or looking lost, stay calm and
that's what I was working on this morning. I edited the speech, and this is different. And so I'm trying to speak from my mind, so maybe I'll do that.
Well, I'm missing some pages here. I wonder what must have happened. But there are several other issues that will be discussed at this summit.
Just do it.
Well, there's been a lot of reaction across the political divide on the president's speech mix-up yesterday. Member of Parliament for Ayawasu West Wogon, Emmanuel describes the situation as an embarrassing one, which portrays a complete disarray of happenings at the presidency.
I think that a very embarrassing situation occurred, an extremely embarrassing situation for all of us as Ghanaians. That at the heart of the presidency, and this was not to a local audience, this was to his colleague presidents and heads of states and governments, before an international audience, that it will happen that His Excellency the President gets to a point where he realizes that he is shortchanged. This one, some heads must roll. I think it portrays a complete disarray of happenings at the heart of government.
That some speeches, when missing some pages of the speech,
it portrays a complete disarray at the heart, at the center of governance. In the office of the president, I will let it pass if it is a deputy minister who
could have been a mistake, and mistakes happen genuinely.
Chief,
to err is human, we say.
Yes, I can agree. I can agree. But some mistakes are almost unpardonable. That His Excellency the President, the fountain of honor of this nation, will stand before an international audience and for 1 minute cannot complete his. You see, there are two sides to this matter. So where all the aides, there are 31 aides and 5 ministers in the office of the president. So what were the schedules? What were the schedules?
Could have been the pages were mixed up.
What were the schedules? No, the man didn't find his. I'm sorry to use the word the man. He's the president. The president couldn't find the document. He said some pages are missing. You ask yourself, so what kind of quality checks? What kind of quality checks did they go through? An important function is quality assurance. At the heart of government, I expect that there will be a chain, and the chain will finally say, finished, done. ABC, hold it.
I can confirm to you.
But even for me, what is more worrying? What is more worrying is that His Excellency the President. So when he sat in his car from his house to the place, he didn't look at it. Before such an audience, at the very least I expected is, oh, this is the speech I am going to. That is why he has a driver, that is why he has this, that's why he has this. I want to confirm that, you see, the people that work there, that is the only reason why people will be called honorable. That is the only reason why people will have all the perks that is given to them. So that such things will not happen. What due diligence did anybody do before the president stood before that international audience? Why do you always come back after the mistake?
So you are saying people should be punished?
Absolutely, in the heart of the presidency. This is not about an NDC presidency. This is about the honor and dignity of the nation.
When the president realized that the 2 pages were not there, he was able to deliver his speech to conclusion without those pages. It tells a president who is on top of the issues.
Come on.
He tells a president who knows the issues as related to the function.
Come on.
It also shows that this is a president who has read through the pages and knew what was in the pages. And that's how come that he was able to deliver extempore without any inhibition. But I can assure you that this matter will be investigated as the Chief of Staff has directed that the issue.
Would you advise that the president, just like some time ago he started using teleprompters, perhaps for such huge or big official functions, he tend to use those teleprompters, and so those speeches electronically are embedded in that very database?
There were times he was even reading from his
iPad.
I think.
Is it iPad or tablet or
whatever it is? I think that time has come for him to reduce them into soft copy and be doing that because of these problems that we have. He's savvy when it comes to technology, and I think that would help him more than the hard copy things that we.
So you do acknowledge that it was a lapse that should be.
It's a lapse
that should be avoided.
It should not be encouraged, and that's why the Chief of Staff has asked for some explanations, but it has happened. When it happened, how did the president rise up to the occasion? The president did not let this country down.
Really affected the work. You can see that the whole courtyard is empty. Citizens who have issues in the court to attend to are standing behind the gates. The security men.
Well, time now for us to do some business, and we'll be back shortly with a lot more business news. A meeting between Employment and Labour Relations Minister and management and staff of the Agric Development Bank has ended in a deadlock. The closed-door meeting was to, among others, settle concerns raised by the staff, as well as pave the way for a smooth investigation of these concerns by the central bank. Both parties have, however, been advised to desist from trading accusations in the media.
The Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Harun Idrisu, had a tough time getting the two parties, especially the Union of Industry, Commerce and Finance Workers, UNICOF, to agree on a number of issues. Even though management and staff of ADB failed to reach a compromise after the over 3-hour meeting, management of the bank has been cautioned against victimizing staff.
A very important financial institution, and we've accordingly advised both management and the workers to cease action and accusations and counter accusations using the media and the platform of the media, whilst we use internal processes to examine and investigate some of the legitimate issues that have been raised. Accordingly, as I indicated earlier, they were to suspend the sale of ADB House and to proceed on the IPO subject to consultation and negotiation with the other stakeholders, in particular negotiating and consulting with the union. And management was to avoid issues of victimization, particularly of workers who may be associated with this agitation, and the issues raised to conflict of interest, financial impropriety and other matters was to be examined and interrogated by the Bank of Ghana and an external entity to establish the issues that has been raised, and that can inform government subsequent and future action. But it appears that the parties are deadlocked and not able to agree on some of those issues. I've encouraged them that the union should engage management and the board whilst we look into the issue. We also have not ruled out the National Labour Commission taking ownership of the matter and dealing with it as the law permits them and mandates them to do.
Attempts by management to sell the bank met fierce resistance from workers. The Bank of Ghana has started investigations into the matter, including suspicion by UNICOF that the ADB boss might influence the investigations if he remains at post. Aishi Brian, Joy News, Accra.
The Association of Ghana Industries has described government's decision to increase fuel prices by 9% as unfortunate and inhumane. National Executive Member of the AGI, Nora Bannerman, tells Rare Business that timing for the upward adjustments is bad.
I think it's coming at a very unfortunate time. This is a time when we thought, when I say a time, this is a period when businesses are reeling under the effects of the energy crisis, and we were looking forward to government offering certain reliefs to the manufacturing sector, to businesses in general. Increase in fuel prices means increase in cost of production, because the majority of us are dependent on generators to generate energy when there's a lack of it. And you know, our recent business barometer survey, when I say our, AGI's recent business barometer survey, shows that costs of energy to most businesses using generators is now 6 times what it would have cost using hydro energy or energy supplied by ECG. So it's rather unfortunate. So there seems to be a disconnect between government and the private sector, you know, business sector. But these two should have been in collaboration for an economy to grow.
Meanwhile, the association has also registered its displeasure on the 100-point base increase of the monetary policy rate of the Bank of Ghana. The central bank increased the rate from 21 to 22% last week.
No, that is also something that we cannot actually appreciate, because we believe that this is some policy that has been repeated over and over and over again and has not been working. You know, it's not working within our environment. It could work in some other country, but it's not working here. All it does is to increase cost of borrowing and therefore cost of products and cost of services. Again, it leads us back to not being competitive. This is a time when we are talking about promoting made in Ghana goods and services. How do we promote something that is even more expensive than other products that can be found on the market? So it's not beneficial to the business climate at all.
Well, that's it for business. Let's do sports now with Benedict Owusu.
And let's talk sports now. My name is Benedict Owusu. The Ghana Football Association says it is yet to receive the apology purported to have been sent by suspended Black Stars midfielder Sule Ali Muntari. Now, reports arrived in the media earlier this week that the former AC Milan star had sent a relative to deliver the said apology to the officials of the Ghana Football Association. Communications Director of the FA, Ibrahim Sanidara, has been speaking to Joy Sports on the development.
Well, up till now, we've not received any letter of apology from Sule Muntari. As we've consistently said, every Ghanaian who's a football player is a Ghanaian, unless the person makes himself available if something like that of the Sule Muntari hits the person. So until such a time that Muntari brings an apology, he remains suspended. But if he brings an apology, he's available for Ghana. And then that is that the coach would have to make a decision whether to invite him for a match.
So that was the Ghana Football Association spokesperson Ibrahim Sanidara speaking there. Now let's do, some boxing news. And Richard Oblitekomi is leaving no stone unturned in his determination to announce himself to the boxing world in the grand fashion when he fights in the United States of America for the first time on Friday night. Now, the Commonwealth lightweight champion landed in the U.S. at the weekend ahead of his debut in the Mecca of boxing come Friday night against Uzbekistan boxer Bahodi Mamadjonov under the competent tutelage of his long trainer Lawrence Carloko. Komi has settled down and training fervently for the IBF Intercontinental lightweight title fight against Mamadjonov and at the D Hotel and Casino, Las Vegas, Nevada, to be televised live on CBS. Now, rated number 7 by the IBF, number 14 by the WBA, and number 16 by the WBC. Undefeated, coming with 21-19 knockouts, hopes to edge closer to a world title shot with victory against the Houston, Texas-based, boxer who beat another Ghanaian, Osmanu Akaba, in his last fight back in August last year. So away from that boxing story, let's do some football before we take leave of you. And Ghana's women's national team will leave Accra tonight for their first leg of the 2016 Olympic Games qualifier against Egypt. Now, the Black Queens will be chasing their first ever qualification and will be seeking to regain their formidable strength, which made them second best on the continent behind Nigeria. We are actually expected to speak to Linia Adi, or the head coach of the team. That's Yusuf Basigi. Been trying, but we are unable to get through to them. So that's it from me on News Today. Chenchehine returns to wrap up the news. Stay tuned.
The sports segment was Executives of the Greater Accra Regional Branch of the New Patriotic Party have rejected a report by an appeals committee set up to probe disputes arising from the just-ended vetting of parliamentary aspirants. Kwasha Frenyama has more.
After the party concluded its vetting 2 weeks ago, parliamentary aspirants from 7 constituencies petitioned the regional secretariat. The petitions were mainly from MP hopefuls who had been disqualified. The Accra branch of the opposition party then set up an appeals committee. The terms of reference of the committee was to review the disputed decisions of the vetting committee. But after 3 days of crucial deliberations and submission of their reports, Regional Chairman Ishmael Ashite says they failed to do a good job.
The Regional Steering Committee have decided to reject the report. There is a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of mistakes here and there that we feel should not allow this report to stand. So we are rejecting the report.
Ishmael Ashite cites the example of how the committee made contradictory recommendations on an aspirant at Tema East constituency.
The regional executive put his clearance on hold as a result of a petition submitted by the constituency executive to restrain him from contesting the primaries because of an allegation of the aspirant being a member of TAI. The regional chairman confirmed to the appeals committee that the aspirant has produced the attestation, a copy which was given to the committee for perusal. Based on the facts available, the committee had no option but to confirm the recommendation of the vetting committee. Now let's look at the recommendation of the appeals committee on the same aspirant. Tema is Mr. Benjamin Ashite. Mr. Ashite could not be cleared because of our reservation regarding his membership to TESCOM. You see the contradiction.
The Greater Accra Regional Chair says they have now abandoned earlier plans to present the Appeals Committee's report to the National Executive Committee of the party.
There is one other opportunity available. The National Steering Committee will be meeting very soon to also look at our report to them, the National Executive. And this should have been the report that will have liked them to look at. But as we are withdrawing this one, it means now they are going to deal with the vetting committee's report and not this one, because of the inconsistencies, the contradictions that are here.
The opposition party's National Executive Committee is expected to meet soon to deliberate on the matter. Kwachi Afreniames reports for Joy News.
Government has announced the disbursement of a $156 million facility for second cycle institutions across the country. The World Bank facility is targeted at improving secondary education, especially in rural Ghana. The facility, according to a Deputy Minister of Education, will benefit 10,400 students in 50 deprived secondary schools in the country. The Deputy Minister revealed this at Dofo Senior High School in the Volta region.
We were happy to announce to the nation that all the hard work has paid off, and the $156 million secondary education improvement project for the Republic of Ghana is signed, sealed, and delivered. This secondary education improvement project has 4 components. The first component is scholarships to 10,400 students in our second cycle institutions in deprived communities. There is a rigorous criteria which we have agreed with the World Bank to follow. I want to emphasize that this criteria has nothing to do with the fact that I am MP for this area. All the senior high schools in the North Tongue district qualify under the established criteria. Dofo Senior High, Aveime Bato Senior High, Bato Senior High, Memphis and Kizito Technical Secondary School all qualify under the World Bank criteria because you meet the selection criteria which was put together by the team of experts. I also want to stress that this scholarship package is going to 10,400 students across the country. The agreement we have with the World Bank is that 60% of the scholarship recipients will be female. And that is why today you can see that we have more females here.
Well, we can now do a lot more happening on the international world. A plan to restrict West African presidents to 2 terms in office has been dropped for the time being by heads of states. The heads of states discussed the proposal to impose limits at a regional summit. Togo and the Gambia, both with presidents who have been in power for more than 2 terms, opposed the idea. Diplomats say that the 3rd term issue has caused a lot of controversy in several African states in recent years. Burkina Faso's president, Blaise Compaoré, was forced out of office last year after trying to change the constitution so he could run for a 3rd term, while in East Africa, there have been weeks of protests and a failed coup after Burundi's president, Pierre Nkurunziza, announced plans to seek a 3rd term in office. That'll be it for News Today right here on Joy News. Before we go, a recap of our top stories. Court activities grind to a halt as judicial service staff begin indefinite nationwide strike. Government to lay off workers if economy's growth continues to decline. Some women farmers in the northern region call for police protection following incessant sexual attacks on them by Fulani herdsmen. For more news, do well to log on to myjournline.com. My name is Kobna Chencheni. Have a good afternoon.